I want to thank you for being here. Some of you were here yesterday, so double feature, I suppose. Thank you for your time. I'm Danny Rubin, founder of Rubin. As many of you know, we provide resources to schools for employability skills and like email etiquette, phone etiquette, networking skills, conversation skills. And one of the newer units that we've been working on is what we're calling math for careers. And we started building that out because we've had a lot of requests from teachers to bring more math for careers content into the classroom. One reason is, and let me ask the question to the group, how many of you have state exams or competency exams that draw upon financial math questions? I know in Virginia, Nevada, California, perhaps, there are exams that contain questions related to financial math. And we have seen the data from school partners that students perform the poorest in the math section of these exams, which are more workplace readiness, career-based, but they do ask math questions and there's a deficit. So we have worked on content. Many of the pieces are tied directly to questions on these exams to help prepare for these exams. And so we're going to look at some of those together. And also I'd like to have just a conversation. I'm going to try to use that Zoom whiteboard feature, which I haven't really used much in the past, but I'd like to just have a little collaboration on some financial math themes that you'd like to see covered, ones that you've done yourself, share with the group what works and what's needed, because I feel like this is a little bit of a new space, at least for us, to teach not just learning how to multiply and do some basic math, but also tying it to college and career. And that's the space that we occupy. And that's why we started to dip our toe into this, because we want to make sure it's connected to college and career, not just financial math for the sake of financial math, but tying back to real life scenarios for college and career that involve math. So I'd like to have a little conversation around that. And I don't know if we'll go the full hour, but we'll stay as long as we need to, and we'll hopefully make this a productive session. So to get us started, you know how we always like to give out freebies, and we're doing it again today because we've developed several worksheets and video guides around financial math, and you can see some of them here: payroll, hourly wage, pay stub, telling time. And just like we did yesterday, if you were here, all of our webinars, if you would like those resources, whether you're new to us or this is your first time here, type interested in the chat with your email, and we'll send you these math worksheets after we're done, or the guides that we cover. So you're welcome to access those and share them with students later. So go ahead and do that. And we'll shoot it out this afternoon. Or if not, yeah, most likely this afternoon. So thank you for that. And as we always like to say as well, that if you are watching on a recording, you can also have these resources. Just send us an email to with the subject line of Rubin Math Worksheets, and we will email it to you that way. A couple more news and notes that we have one more Summer Learning Series webinar. It's happening on August 2nd. And we're going to go back to probably our company's bread and butter, which is email writing. And this time, we're going to talk about how to write great work emails. So emails related to team communication, project management, leadership communication, skills like that. So not writing for a job, or writing for the internship, or thank you notes. It's more about the day-to-day as you're doing your work, how to be more organized, more concise, more logical in your emails to help the other person or the group get your message right away, absorb it, close the email, and do whatever you needed them to do. So that'll be on August 2nd. So I hope you'll join us there. You'll see emails about that as we get closer. But that's happening in a few weeks. And also you'll receive a certificate for being here today that will come to you via email either today or first thing in the morning. You'll get it to your email. So look out for the freebies if you requested it, and the certificate, as we always do, so you can show that that you were here and get that credit. So thanks to those who put their emails in, and thanks to all of you who are with us today. I know we're really in the dog days of summer, and there's a million things you could be doing. I know we appreciate you being with us. So let me go to share my screen here, get rid of that little thing. And I'll just, hold on, I'm gonna step back. So as I mentioned, and many of you are familiar, that our company has a curriculum called Emerge, where we cover a wide range of communication skills, and email etiquette being one of our most important ones, most popular, a lot of life skills training, and phone etiquette, ethics discussion, which is also a new area for us, teaching ethical conversations across email writing, conversation skills, things like that. And our newest unit, which is math for careers, and we're going to spend the most time in there. So this is like a big library of different topics, and we're going to spend our time today over here. And I want you to see what we've been building out, and we intend to keep growing this section, but this is what's here today. And we're going to go through several of these together and look at them so that we can, what I want to do is put it on the screen so that it's, in the recording, you can share this video with students in the fall, and just talk about some of the themes that we have received requests for. And you can see what's here now, and also things that we could add later that you'd like to see, or things that you've done in the classroom that have been successful. So we've just at a high level, we have some video tutorials on some basics, which we'll go through a few together. We talk a lot about the pay stub, understanding the pay stub. How many of you have received questions from students about their pay stub, or about a 1099, or a W-2, or a W-4? How do I fill this out? What am I supposed to write? What do I do? Or, well, I thought I was going to get paid X. Where did all that money go, right? Who's heard that? I think the first time we all get a paycheck, right? We look at our paycheck and say, wait, where's all that money go? What are these federal and state taxes? What is health insurance? What is, what are these things? And it's a kind of a rude awakening, right? When you realize you don't get all the money you thought you were going to get. That's adulting, right? That is what it is to become an adult a little bit. So we talk about the pay stub. We break down a W-2 versus a W-4. We learn how to tell time. How many of your students would be, let me ask this question. In your schools, how many of your schools no longer have traditional clocks? It's all digital clocks in the hallways, in the classrooms. Do any of your schools still have traditional clocks that students would need to read to know what time it is? Okay, you have analog clocks. Because plenty of schools have digital clocks, Apple watches, digital watches, and it's like, but there are times when you need to read a real watch or read a clock, and do you know how to write, Michelle? No one knows how to read them. So we're going to go through that together, a worksheet with some scenarios for that, which again, you can share, teach how to read these clocks and 24-hour clocks the first 2 weeks of class. My first job at McDonald's had military time. Interesting, I didn't know McDonald's had military time. But maybe because they're 24 hours open many times, it's easier to do it that way. Analog, because I have to teach nursing students. Great, so we're going to talk about that. And again, I want this to be collaborative. So I like the comments in the chat, and we're going to have a whiteboard, like I said, to get some ideas on the paper. So part of this will be looking at what we have, and part of it is talking about what else could be, because there is a need here. Students are struggling, and we've just sort of gotten the ball rolling, but I know that there can be much more. So to start off with, let's look here at some topics that we've covered. like sales commission, how to determine payroll, how to calculate hourly wage, how to deduct from your paycheck, something even that's not even about getting paid, but it's about the quantity of building materials. How many do you need of something? So what I'm going to take you through are a few different videos that we produced that show students how to get to the answer on a sample question. And then we have a worksheet here where students can practice more. But at least for you, let me make sure my sound is on, to have something you can share in the classroom that goes over some of these classic financial math situations. So I'm going to play this video. It's about understanding commission, what that means, and how much you receive. So let me play this. This is from the Rubin team.
Hey there, I'm Mac from Rubin, and today we are going to go over an applied math question together. So let's review the question and talk about how to determine the answer. So you'll see on the left side of my screen, question number 92 reads, a salesperson receives 10% commission on his or her total sales. They sell $1,500 worth of merchandise. How much commission did he or she receive? So what we need to do is find 10% of $1,500. So in order to do that, you'll see my calculator on the right-hand side of the screen. You're going to put in the number 1,500, and to find 10% of this number, you're going to multiply 1,500 by 0.1. So what we did is, if you think about the decimal being after the 10.0, you're going to move it twice to the left, which is going to be 0.1. So once you do 1,500 times 0.1, you'll see that the answer is 150. So
Hold on, sorry.
the salesperson will receive $150 worth of commission.
Okay. So, and I wanted to mention that these are sample questions from, in Virginia, I think a few other states use the workplace readiness skills exam. Does anybody in here use that exam? I think, I know there are some people here in Nevada, I believe, might use it, or California or Virginia uses it, I know. And so we're taking sample questions from the exam and showing how we get to the answer. And then we have our own questions students can do, without guidance. But this is an example of a real question that could have appeared on an exam. So when students see it, they're more comfortable and they know how to approach it. So again, we're trying our best to teach to the test. I hesitate to use that language because, we don't want to make it so rigid that we don't look outside the test in general. But in these purposes, we're just helping them to, answer these questions so they can pass these exams and certification tests, but also just have a general understanding of what it means to receive commission, which is something that they could very much run into with a job even in high school or after high school, receive commission. So let's watch another one about company payroll. Again, another question off the workplace readiness skills exam that we take them through with a calculator.
Hey there, I'm Mac from the Rubin team, and today we are going to go over an applied math question together. So let's review the question and talk about how to determine the answer. So on the left side of my screen, you will see question number 93, and it reads, the hourly employees in your department worked a total of 7,350 hours this week. The wage for each person is $10.75 per hour. What is the total payroll for your department this week? So what we need to do in order to find the total payroll for the department is multiply the amount of hours worked for the week by all employees by the wage that each employee makes. So you'll see on the right side of my screen, I have a calculator. And what I'm going to do is put in 7,350, and I'm going to multiply that by that 1075. So times 10.75, and the final total is $79,012.50. So what you could do is then click on the answer and you'll see that it's correct.
Ooh, sorry. And I know that you know these answers, right? But I'm playing the video in full so that you could use this in the classroom if you'd like, off of the YouTube recording, and show students some samples, and then they can practice on their own with some other, you can change out the numbers, have them do it again. Would this be useful to anybody here? You know, again, this is kind of a new theme for us. I wanted to pick it for the summertime, but would you use this type of video demonstration in class? Would this help you at all? Okay. So that's why I wanted to play a few of these and just let them run so that they're locked in time, nice and quiet, you know, on the recording. Let's do one more in the same manner. Hourly wage. One. Again, another question that could have appeared on the workplace readiness skills exam.
Hey there, it's Mac from the Rubin team. Today we are going to go over an applied math question together. So let's review the question and talk about how to determine the answer. Question number 94 reads, Maya worked 41 hours this week at a local hospital. She makes $12 per hour. Anytime over 40 hours is paid at a time and a half or 1.5 times her hourly wage. How much will Maya earn for her 41 hours of work this week? So the first 40 hours are going to be paid at the rate of $12 an hour. So let's start by looking at the right side of my screen and seeing what the pay is going to be for those 40 hours of work. So you do 40 times 12, and that's $480. Now, there's that 41st hour that we need to calculate the pay for. So it's 1 hour where she's going to be paid time and a half. So what we're going to do is multiply 12 times 1.5 to find that pay. So 12 times 1.5 is equal to $18. So now what we can do is add the 18 to that $480 for those first 40 hours worked, and that is $498. So then what you'll do is click the correct answer.
And by the way, is it time and half or time and a half? I thought it was always time and a half. And by the way, if this is a typo, don't come at me because this is not, we didn't write the question. We're just answering the question, but time and a half. So there we go with the answer again of how to work through this problem. So again, I hope that you find this.
Hey there, it's Mac from the Rubin team. Today we are going to go over an applied.
So three videos that you could show in class to discuss some classic financial math situations that tie back to careers. Again, I hope it's helpful to you and helpful to the students. Moving along, I want to share some other items, and I'll put it on the screen so that you can show it to the students. Okay, a pay stub. We've made a sample pay stub with some basic information about earnings, the amount of time, regular time, overtime, the taxes, some examples of taxes withheld. And that's a chance to talk to them about what does it mean to withhold taxes? What does that expression mean? Federal, state, Social Security, Medicare, and taking those amounts out, current versus year to date. What does that mean? Description of other deductions. What do deductions mean? It's an opportunity to help define terms, help them to locate items on the pay stub. Like, can you find for me the hospital deduction or the 401k deduction or the Medicare or Social Security, letting them observe it. So when they receive their own pay stub, they know what they're looking at. Do you have students this summer who are working summer jobs where they would receive a paycheck, a regular paycheck? What are some jobs that your students are working that you are aware of where they might receive a paycheck with a pay stub on it? Retail, fast food, CNA certified nursing assistant, fast food, retail. And for many of the students, do you think it's the first time that they would have received a paycheck? Maybe just this past month. So they're going to look at it and say, if they look at it, right, and say, I don't know what all this means. So it could be a good opportunity in the fall to go over this. You're receiving emails from students asking about this. So this is helpful to me and our team to know. The few lessons we just went over as a stopping point, where would these types of lessons fit in your year? Do you, if there's not a defined class for financial math or economics and personal finance, perhaps, but aside from that, like where would you put this? Where would this show up in your day, your semester? And Robin says she gets a call every year to help students interpret their pay stubs. Hmm. Where would this go? Put them with resume cover letter, like that. Discuss in the spring before summer jobs. Heather teaches it now. So is this something that you're asked to teach or that you just go out of your way to do because you know it's important? Okay, in a personal finance class, I assume this would come up. But otherwise, okay, you do it because it's just something that you want them to know. And I think there's a lot of difference around the country of how these skills are taught or not taught. But this is so critical. You know, you're working hard. You have to understand where the money goes. You have to understand and also understand making sure that you're being paid fairly, right? Because maybe a boss might assume the student doesn't know how they're being paid and could pay them less and see that they're not paying attention or they don't understand or stuff happens, right? So it's also just teaching students to look out for themselves and check these documents, make sure all the numbers add up, that they're paid for the time that they gave. So there's a lot of reasons why this is valuable. So, okay. So I want to go now to, let me turn off the screen share for just a second. I want to bring up something else, another worksheet, because some of these are on screen and some of these are actual worksheets that are Word docs that we produced. And we were talking at the beginning about this, and I want to show you what we've done because again, it's not just about learning how to tell time. It's learning how to tell time in the context of jobs, careers, your life. Can everybody see my Word doc? Can you see my Word doc okay on the screen? It says telling time. Image is cut off. Can you see these clocks? Okay, yeah, it's cut off because I hadn't scrolled. This is a Word document. So what we've done, and we'll provide this to you, I mentioned it for the free things if you'd like, is we give scenarios. You plan to give a presentation to a client. You're only allowed to spend 20 minutes delivering the presentation. As well, the presentation must conclude by 12:50 p.m. Draw the start time on the begin clock and write the time below, and then the end time. So we're asking students to actually fill in the minute and hour hand on these clocks to show us what time you would start the presentation and conclude, so they know what the clock looks like, but connecting it to something real life. Let's do another one. We have a few here. You ask, where'd the clock go? Need to bring that back. The clock got moved. You asked to speak by phone with a senior executive at a nonprofit organization. The person has become a mentor to you. The person says she is busy at the moment and prefers you call at the end of the workday at 4:30 p.m. It's currently 1:15. I'm sorry, that's right. This one was just putting an answer in the line. In hours and minutes, how long do you have to wait to make that call? So like making them think about time, how long something takes. Have you encountered this with students where they don't understand time, like when something happens or how long to wait for something or when to arrive for something? I have to imagine you've experienced this. just a lack of understanding about how time works. So this is one where they're just thinking through, when do I have to wait to call that person? How much time needs to pass by? Next one, you have an internship interview at 3 p.m. This one's got a lot going on. The bus station is a 10-minute walk from your house. The bus will take 40 minutes to arrive at your interview location. You also want to make sure you arrive 5 minutes early. So on the begin clock, what time do you need to leave your house? On the end clock, what time do you need to get there? So it's a lot of thinking, but is this not real life? If you're going for an interview and they say the interview's at 11 a.m. and you live 30 minutes away and there might be some traffic and that bridge might be closed, or you want to be, I mean, it's that backwards math, right? You got to start at the end time and say, what time do I need to leave to get there? As adults, we do this all the time. With our kids, we're like, oh, my kid's baseball game's at 1 o'clock. The coach wants us there at 12:15. We live 30 minutes from the field. What time should we leave our house? Right? So this is real life math. Also making them think about clocks. So I hope you would see a lot of practicality here, and hopefully some good discussion too about being on time, because it's easy to teach a very high level soft skill about being on time, but it's, I think, more meaningful to not just say you should be on time, but put them through scenarios where they have to think about how they would be on time and what time they need to get out of the house to get there. So this one could be really interesting. I'd love to know if you run it in class, how it goes. Robin says, I see students struggle with the concept of quarter hour, half hour for their timesheets. Students typically type 0.3 on their timesheet to represent half instead of 0.5. Oh, that's good. I can see that. Like half of 60 minutes, I presume is what you're saying. But yeah, the math doesn't math. The math's not mathing, as the expression goes. Really good. Misconceptions. And these are the things that, as we get older, we're afraid to ask somebody. We're afraid to ask. We just assume we know, or we're just afraid, oh, I would look stupid if I said something. Let them make the mistakes here. Let them get these questions answered. Cannot go through life thinking 0.3 is a half hour, right? Like, that's crazy. Also, they would say, if I'm understanding this right, Robin, they would say that they worked less time than they actually did, right? If they're putting 0.3 instead of 0.5, they're going to get paid less. So, I mean, come on. You did the work, you got to get paid for it. And thank you, Susan. They asked students to fill out a form while waiting for the interview. Right. You got to be early. That's why they need to check their pay stub. So again, it goes right from this exercise to the pay stub. Check your time. Check how much they paid you for. Because it may not be the boss trying to pull a fast one. They may just say, this is the time you put on your timesheet. And that's all I'm going to pay you for. And that's just life. So some hard lessons here. Or maybe they wouldn't even know they didn't, they missed the lesson if they don't even know 0.3 versus 0.5. One more. You must be at work at 8:30 in the morning. Your commute takes 25 minutes. What time do you need to leave your house? Basic, just basic, every day. There's nothing worse than an employee who's late chronically. It's hard to move up. It's hard to get promoted. It's hard to stay there if they just cannot trust you to be there at that time. So again, basic time management connected to careers. And we will include that in the free resources that we're putting together, that we already did put together for today's session. What I would like to do now is bring you in even more. And I'm going to try to use this whiteboard. Okay, so bear with me. I have not done this live, and now as I'm clicking it, there we go. New whiteboard. Let me see if I can still see my chat. Okay, I'm just gonna use can you see my whiteboard? Can everybody see my whiteboard in the Zoom area? Okay, what I would love to know, oh, this is really big font, is what are some financial math exercises that you've done or that you would love to have? What are some other aspects of financial math connected to careers that would be great to teach? Because we'll take that seriously. I'd like to know what you've done or what you would, if you could have it, what would it be? Give me some ideas. Let's crowdsource it and make this like a working session together. What are some other themes where students struggle? That's good. Ounces to milliliters. Okay. Discounts. Be more specific, Debbie, about discounts. It's kind of weird how they make you type it. I can't. I got to capitalize. You know me. I'm curious about discounts. That's good. Anything else? Invoice shipping term discounts. That's good. Regular price and new price. Budgeting. Wants versus needs. Ooh, job benefits. Unit pro. That's excellent. I knew there were many, many more that we haven't hit. Um, that you would know. And unit price. Anything else that comes to mind? And also, which of these lessons, the ones that we've shown you or ones that you've done yourself, have gone the best? Or what are some best practices you could share with other teachers about how to teach it well? Things to look out for, unexpected outcomes, or anything you've learned by teaching these skills. The students need to know the pros and cons of working off the books. Actually, they should never. Yeah. And if you work in restaurants, you know what that means, that you can, the quote, being paid, quote, under the table, right? Who's heard that expression? Where your taxable income may not be exactly what you made, right? And that's hard for the government to know. But it is not what you should do. Many of our students have never traveled on a plane, so when we have an out-of-state field trip, we conduct a 2-hour workshop on traveling. That's good. What are some things you cover in the traveling workshop, Robin? I love that. That's a great life skill, how to travel, especially on a plane, which is new for many students. What to do when you get to the airport. I like that. Obtaining weights on a non-digital scale, simple pounds and ounces. It doesn't like the spelling of that. Departure arrival screens. Excellent. I love that. Bag security, finding your flight. How to pack. What are some things that students don't understand about travel? Like that you're like, what? No, that's not what you do. What are some things that make you say that they thought was the case until you told them, no, 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 that's not it. This is really good stuff. Yeah, and child labor law. We actually do cover that, Susan, in another part of our platform. Understanding at your age what you're allowed and not allowed to do. What time to leave? Oh, there you go again with that time component. What time to leave to get to the airport? And by the way, well, actually, this is fine. Most kids want to pack 4 suitcases for a 3-day trip. Yeah, about that, right? And then you tell them, oh, but did I tell you about bag fees and how those work? You get one free, maybe, and then it's $35 every time or $50, whatever. whatever it is. So that's when you learn to put everything in one suitcase, right? Or in your carry-on to avoid bag fees. But those are things you learn when you travel and you grow up. Any other ideas? These are excellent. How do I want to email this to myself, or I'll copy the link. So I don't want to lose it, although it's in the chat as well. Onboard etiquette. Yep. Great stuff. I appreciate all of you helping to share ideas. What we'll do is in that free resource that we put together, we'll put the list of items that you just shared in there as well. So you could remember some of these things too that we talked about. We'll put that in there with everything else. How to ask for a raise. So one more thing I want to share, different from yesterday, something else that our company is doing that I want to make sure everyone knows about. It's going to happen next school year. How many of you were aware this past year that we hosted a national contest called America's Next Great Intern? Are any of you aware of that? Saw that come through in our email correspondence? So we tried something new. We're always about trying new things here. And we put on a national contest where we had students compete on their employability skills. A national contest. And this happened in January through, the whole thing was January through April. The competition period was February, which was National CTE Month. And we had students compete on these criteria, showing us a professional handshake, showing us how they leave a voicemail and answer the phone at a place of business like a receptionist, show us how they can send an email to update their teacher or classmates on a project, an example of their determination and resiliency through a class project or on a job, and examples of how they do research to get to know a company before an interview to show their critical thinking. And students from around the country submitted these items to us. We, as a Rubin team, selected 16 national finalists from Virginia all the way to Hawaii, and then put those 16 out for a public vote. And we had, what was it, almost 10,000 votes around the country. And the winning student is a young lady named Bezawit Abate, who is goes to school in Prince William County, which is in Northern Virginia, just outside of Washington, D.C. She is moved here within the past year from Ethiopia, and she showed off great employability skills, and then she gained the most public votes in our voting round. And in April, we announced her as our national winner to be America's Next Great Intern. And one of the prizes was to be an intern for our team. So she's actually interning for us this summer, right now. She's doing great. And she also received a stipend for professional clothing and a professional headshot. And the second and third place winners got banners for their schools, and all the finalists got Amazon gift cards. And I want to show you, to help bring home the value of this contest, the school system in Prince William produced a video. We, as a Rubin team, went up to the high school and did an award presentation, and school officials, county officials were there. And the school system produced a great video on the value of the contest and the value of teaching employability skills. I want to show you the video and then tell you how to be part of our contest for next year.
We're here at Potomac Senior High School today to celebrate Abate's first place national win for the America's Next Great Intern contest.
Bezawit is a great representation of what this contest is all about. It is giving students at a young age the skills and the confidence to talk to employers, to feel comfortable engaging in real-life workplace situations.
Initially, I entered this contest with
Oh,
by my
sorry.
teacher, Mr. Lar, which is my economics and finance teacher, as a class project. And I was hoping to get knowledge and skills for my future work career, and it was really awesome. It's great. I'm really happy, and I thank you guys again.
We have another atmosphere now where kids need to be able to go straight to work. And to be able to express that early on in high school, the skills needed to go straight to work is important.
So the skills matter because people matter. Regardless of what industry you go into, you're going to be working with human beings. And so making sure that you still have those personal, social, employable skills is a critical asset to making sure that we have folks who are job force ready. We are blessed at Potomac to work with a wonderful CTE and business department, work with great teachers who make sure that the learning that our students have here at the school is not just for their head, but it's also for their heart. And we're seeing it pay off with things like earning the Rubin America's Next Great Intern Award.
All right. Wasn't that nice? Isn't that a great video? I hope you all could hear that and see that. I thought that was so well produced by the school, and it just spoke to the value of the contest. So all that to say that we would love for you to have your students compete in our contest this new school year. It will, we're going to kick things off in January, but we'll start putting the word out in the fall. There's no cost to be part of this contest. You do not have to be a customer of ours to be in this contest. It's for any school, any CTE program. It is designed for high school students, but we also have a middle school division and we included post-secondary students with high school students to be in their own category. So that's who is eligible. And many of you are on our email list, and actually you are now from signing up for today, but I'm just curious if you're interested in being part of this contest. Can you tell me in the chat, and we'll make sure that you receive emails about this contest when it goes out in the fall and winter, so that you would know. Just let us know. You can write the word interested if it's easy, and just say interested, so we can get a sense of who wants to participate next year, because we want to have even more schools be part of this. We want thousands of students competing. We want this to be a thing. We're going to make the prizes bigger. We're going to raise the stakes. We're going to keep pushing this because we had a great success year one, and we feel like we can only make it bigger and make the prizes and the stakes just higher, and give CTE an even bigger platform around the country. We did receive a lot of news coverage for the contest in cities where students were finalists. So we got the CTE word out there into the broader community, showing off what CTE is teaching students in those local communities. We had news stories in Greensboro, Minneapolis, where we are in what's called Norfolk, Virginia Beach, articles around the country. So we want to help promote the work that you're doing by showing your students, demonstrating the skills that, of course, employers want to see, right? They want to see these skills. They want to see the handshakes. They want to see how you pick up the phone and say, Acme Corporation, how may I direct your call? This is what they need to see. And so we're having students do it in a contest. So just be aware of it. America's Next Great Intern contest. It's coming this upcoming school year for round 2. And we're really excited about it and to see how much further it can go. But we need all of you. We need you to, request the contest rules, look through it. It's very easy. It's really not a whole lot. And it can become a really great class project for February. So again, look out for that. And please, when you see it, share it with colleagues, forward it around, get your whole school involved. We would love for you to take part. And I'll just do some quick reminders and we'll wrap up in a moment that, I mentioned, for those who missed it, many of the things we talked about today, we're going to provide in a Google Drive folder. So if you would like these resources and you didn't ask for them yet, just put interested in your email address in the chat right now, and we'll send you these resources later today. If you're new to our community, never been with us before, we'd like to have a brief phone call to guide you to these resources and make sure you know what you're doing. Those of you who have been here before, we will shoot it out to you as we've done in the past. If you're watching on a recording, send us an email. We can give you the resources just the same. We have another session on August 2nd covering great work emails, how to write great work emails. So please join us on August 2nd for our final professional learning webinar. And also we'll be sending everybody a certificate for being here today. So again, as I thought we would, we finished a little early, but I hope you found this session useful as well. I thought we came up with a lot of great ideas together, and we'll give you many of ours that you can use in the classroom. Any final thoughts or comments? Feel free to throw them in the chat right now. If not, I'll give you a few minutes back and you can enjoy your summer day, your summer Wednesday. Thank you for being with us today. Those of you who were with us yesterday, so grateful you gave us 2 hours of your time, and hopefully we'll see you in August. And then also don't forget that we do our regular webinar series during the year called our Dream Job series, where we talk with professionals about what they do in their jobs. And that'll kick off in September. So we'll conclude our summer learning in August and get back to our Q&As with professionals running September through May. So a lot of good stuff on the way. Thank you again for being here, and I hope that you all have a wonderful afternoon.